NTRO. One healing crystal has confused scientists for decades. Some say it calms pain, some say it dissolves fear, and others claim that when held during moments of emotional turmoil, it reacts, glows, vibrates, almost as if it's responding to the person touching it. Hi everyone, welcome back to Gemstone Kingdom, our special journey into the things no one ever told you about gemstones, their hidden origins, and the way they interact with human energy. I'm Brian, and today's episode will take you deeper than ever before. Because somewhere in this list of 10 gemstones believed to calm pain, fear, and emotional turmoil, there is one stone, the one ranked number one, that healers have quietly passed between generations for over 2,000 years. A stone so unusual that you might already be holding it without knowing what it truly does. Stay with me for the next 30 seconds, because what I'm about to tell you is the key to the entire video. The number one stone doesn't heal the way other stones do. It doesn't soothe, it doesn't soften, it changes the emotional field itself, and some experts believe this is why its effect feels instantaneous. But we won't reveal it yet. We're going to start at number 10 and build upward. And somewhere around the middle of the list, you'll begin to notice a pattern, one that leads directly to the most powerful healing stone ever recorded. And if at any point you feel like this might be the beginning of something new, please leave a comment. I like this video. Let me know you're joining me on this journey to explore the mysterious world of gemstones. If you're busy right now, don't worry. Save this video. It contains stories, discoveries, and healing methods that you won't hear anywhere else, especially about stones most people have never even seen. And before we dive in, if this is your first time at Gemstone Kingdom, don't forget to subscribe. It's just one click, but you won't miss any of the next adventures. Now, sit back, breathe slowly, and follow me. Because if you stay until the end, you'll finally discover the stone ranked number one. And who knows, you might already own it. Number 10, Amazonite, the river stone that calms fear, hidden beneath the surface. They say some stones are created by fire, some by pressure. But Amazonite, the gemstone ranked number 10 in the list of crystals believed to calm pain, fear, and emotional turmoil, was born from something far stranger, a river that never existed, yet shaped millions of lives. Stay with me for these first few seconds, because once you hear how this stone formed, you'll never look at its soft blue-green glow the same way again. Long before humans drew the first symbols on cave walls, the lands that would one day become Russia's Ilmen Mountains, Brazil's Minas Gerais, and parts of Colorado in the United States were nothing but fractured bedrock. Deep inside those fractures, scorching mineral-rich waters flowed through cracks like invisible rivers. As they cooled, those waters left behind microscopic layers of potassium feldspar, layers that slowly hardened into the stone we now call Amazonite. Its colors are unmistakable, a soft blue-green, sometimes streaked with white river-like veins, like sunlight reflected on shallow water. To ancient people, this wasn't just a stone, it was a fragment of calm, a piece of the sky caught in the stone, as early Mesopotamian tribes wrote in their carvings. And this is where the story becomes interesting. For centuries, warriors carried Amazonite carved into amulets, not for strength, not for victory, but to steady their fear before battle. To archaeologists, this makes sense. Amazonite formed in the Earth's fractures, and it somehow learned to soothe the fractures within the human heart. Amazonite sits in the top 10 because it targets the kind of pain most people never admit they feel. The pain of doubt, of fear you can't name, of emotions swirling so fast you don't know where to begin healing. People believe Amazonite calms emotional turbulence after arguments, silent anxiety that doesn't show on the outside, fear of change, rejection, or uncertainty. The ache inside the chest when thoughts won't settle, it doesn't numb the pain, it loosens it, the way water smooths stone over centuries. Legend says a queen from the ancient steppe tribes pressed an Amazonite stone to her chest after losing a battle. Her healers recorded that she slept peacefully for the first time in weeks, and today countless people still claim the stone has a strange ability to soften the mind when emotions feel too loud. If you've ever felt a kind of fear that hides behind your smile, the kind you pretend doesn't bother you, this stone might surprise you. If Amazonite feels unexpectedly calming to you too, leave a comment saying, Amazonite speaks to me. I'd love to know how many viewers feel that same quiet shift. Before we end, let me leave you with one question. Do you believe calm is something we create or something certain stones help us remember? And don't forget, you can share this video in Facebook and Reddit gemstone groups. Amazonite always brings out unexpected stories from collectors and healers around the world. Number 9, black. Tourmaline, the stone that pulls fear out of your field. If you've ever walked into a room and felt the tension before anyone spoke, or stood near someone and sensed their anger or anxiety without a word being said, then you already understand the world that black tourmaline lives in. Stay with me for the next 30 seconds because the story of this stone, ranked at number 9 among gemstones believed to calm pain, fear, and emotional turmoil, begins deep beneath the earth, where pressure and darkness slowly gave birth to one of the most powerful grounding stones ever discovered. Black tourmaline forms in environments of intense geological stress. You'll find it in the mineral-rich mountains of Brazil, the granite bodies of Africa, the pegmatite veins of Pakistan and Afghanistan, and scattered through the ancient bedrock of the United States and Sri Lanka. It grows as long, striated crystals, dark as ink, matte or slightly glossy, sometimes with subtle ridges that feel like the grooves of a fingerprint. To look at black tourmaline is to see a stone that doesn't pretend to be delicate. It looks like what it is, a shield. So why is it ranked among the top 10 gemstones believed to calm pain, fear, and emotional turmoil? Because black tourmaline is known as one of the strongest protective and grounding stones in the crystal world. Where other stones soothe or soften, this one absorbs, pulling dense, chaotic, or fearful energy downward into the earth. People turn to black tourmaline when they feel overwhelmed by the emotions of others, energetically drained after conversations or conflicts, anxious in crowded places, stuck in fear-based thinking, or physically tense from emotional stress. Energetically, many healers describe it as a fear magnet, a stone that pulls panic, tension, and emotional noise out of your field so your body can remember what calm feels like. There's a story from a healer in Brazil who kept a bowl of black tourmaline near the entrance of her practice. Clients would sit, hold a piece for a few minutes, and then quietly say the same thing. I don't know why, but I feel like I can finally breathe. Visually, black tourmaline doesn't sparkle. It doesn't shimmer with color. It doesn't try to be beautiful. Instead, its power lies in its weight, its darkness, its solidity, like a piece of night that decided to stand guard. If this stone surprises you, or if you've ever felt an invisible heaviness around certain people or places, leave a comment saying, Black tourmaline feels protective. Your words help this community grow and show me which stones resonate most with your experience. Before we move on, here's a question for you, one that always sparks debates in crystal groups. Do you believe protection from fear comes from building inner strength? Or can stones like black tourmaline truly help shield us from emotional chaos? Share this video in your favorite Facebook or Reddit gemstone groups. Black tourmaline always starts powerful conversations about boundaries, protection, and emotional safety. Number 8. Moonstone, the lunar stone of emotional tides and inner calm. Some stones calm the mind, some stones soothe the heart, but moonstone, ranked at number 8, does something different. It slows the emotional tides inside you, the way the real moon softens the pull of the ocean. Stay with me for the next 30 seconds because moonstone's mysterious origin explains why people across centuries believed it could ease fear, emotional turbulence, and the quiet pain we rarely speak about. Moonstone is found in regions shaped by both fire and water, a rare geological combination. Its most treasured deposits come from Sri Lanka, where soft blue flashes drift across pearly white surfaces; India, home to vibrant rainbow varieties; Myanmar and Madagascar, where thick metamorphic layers create deeper colors; Tanzania, known for stones with shifting silver glows. But what makes moonstone truly extraordinary is its internal structure. Thin layers of orthoclase and albite feldspar, stacked like pages of an ancient diary. When light enters these layers, it scatters, creating the floating blue shimmer known as adulorescence. Archaeologists often say moonstone doesn't just glow, it breathes. Visually, moonstone is soft, luminous, and dreamlike. Milky white silver-blue flashes that move like drifting clouds, occasional peach or gray hues, a fluid, living glow that changes when the stone is touched. So why is moonstone ranked among the top 10 gemstones believed to calm pain, fear, and emotional turmoil? Because moonstone is known as the stone of emotional flow, a mineral believed to release the pressure that builds when fear, anxiety, or buried pain becomes too heavy. In emotional healing traditions, moonstone eases fear of change, softens emotional instability, reduces internal tension, calms overthinking, brings clarity to overwhelming feelings, helps the heart move through pain rather than freeze under it. Its energy is gentle, rhythmic, like waves returning to shore. Let me tell you a story. Not long ago, archaeologists in Sri Lanka uncovered a small moonstone bead in an ancient fishing village, worn smooth by generations of hands. It wasn't jewelry. It wasn't ceremonial. It was carried the way someone carries a memory, or a fear, or a hope they're not ready to speak aloud. Even after centuries buried under sand and salt, the stone still caught light the way moonlight catches wet waves. If this stone's quiet glow surprises you, leave a comment saying, "Moonstone feels calming." Your thoughts help this story reach more people who may need it. Before we move forward, here's a question for you, one that always sparks discussion in gemstone groups. Do you believe emotional stability comes from within, or can stones like moonstone truly help guide us through pain and fear? Share this video in Facebook or Reddit groups. Moonstone always starts beautiful conversations about healing, cycles, and the soft power of change. Number 7. Howlite, the stone that silences the storm within. If you've ever felt as if your mind is spinning faster than your body can follow, or as if your thoughts are pounding against the inside of your skull like waves crashing on a cliff, then the story of this stone, howlite, ranked at number 7, may feel strangely familiar. Because howlite was discovered in a place where even the earth couldn't stay calm. It begins in Nova Scotia, Canada, in a chalk-white mine cut deep into ancient sedimentary rock. Workers there complained of a strange, stubborn mineral that forced their drills to bounce back as if hitting bone. When geologists examined it, they found a stone so pale, so cool, and so tightly structured that it almost looked carved rather than grown. This mineral would later spread across deposits in California, Nevada, and parts of Turkey. But its origin story always returns to that Canadian mine, a quiet stone born in a loud environment. Howlite is visually unmistakable, matte white or ivory, delicate gray or black veins that look like sketches of dried riverbeds, a soft, calming texture, almost like holding a piece of cooled moonlight, but its appearance alone isn't what makes it powerful. Howlite is ranked among the top 10 gemstones believed to calm pain, fear, and emotional turmoil because it speaks directly to the part of the human experience most people try to hide, the storm of thoughts in an anxious mind. When archaeologists and storytellers talk about emotional turbulence, they often compare it to geological pressure, layers and layers of stress compacting until something fractures. But howlite does the opposite. It grows slowly, quietly, without tension, forming in porous shapes that absorb and soften the environment around it. Energetically, many people say howlite is like a mental sponge. It's believed to soak up emotional overwhelm, slow racing thoughts, reduce sleeplessness caused by fear or stress, soften irritation, anger, and internal pressure, bring clarity when the mind feels crowded, soothe pain tied to emotional exhaustion. And if you've ever held howlite in your palm, you might understand why. It stays cool, it stays steady, it stays quiet, even when you aren't. There's a story from an old lapidary craftsman in Nevada who said, "People don't buy howlite because it's beautiful. They buy it because it reminds them to breathe." If this stone surprises you, or if you've ever felt the kind of exhaustion that no sleep can fix, leave a comment saying, "How light feels calming." Your thoughts help me understand which stones resonate with your emotional journey. Before we move on, here's something to think about and discuss in the Facebook or Reddit Gemstone groups if you share this video there. Do you believe stones calm the mind because of energy, or because they remind us to slow down long enough to hear ourselves? Number 6. Selenite. The moonlit stone that dissolves fear and softens emotional turmoil. Some stones calm the mind slowly, gently, but selenite, ranked at number 6, doesn't calm you. It clears you. Stay with me for these first 30 seconds because selenite's origin is one of the most extraordinary geological stories ever told. And it explains exactly why this translucent, moonlit crystal has been trusted for centuries to dissolve fear and emotional pain. Selenite is born not in fire, not in volcanic pressure, but in the silent evaporation of ancient oceans. Millions of years ago, when vast inland seas receded across what is now Morocco, Mexico, Greece, and parts of the American Southwest, they left behind hidden chambers where gypsum crystals slowly grew in complete stillness. Over unimaginable stretches of time, some of those crystals stretched into shimmering blades, so clear and so luminous that early archaeologists described them as frozen moonlight. To this day, the Naka Crystal Cave of Chihuahua, Mexico holds the largest selenite formations ever discovered, some more than 30 feet long, glowing like pillars inside a cathedral carved by nature. Imagine that for a moment. Crystals so large they create their own architecture. Crystals that grew in darkness but carried light within them. That's the essence of selenite. It teaches the emotional body how to carry light even in dark places. Visually, selenite is unmistakable. Pale white, silver, or milky translucent. Long fibrous lines that run like soft moonbeams. A glow that appears the moment light touches it. A texture that feels almost soft, even though it is stone. So why is selenite ranked among the top 10 gemstones believed to calm pain, fear, and emotional turmoil? Because selenite has an unparalleled effect on the emotional field. People seek it when they feel overwhelmed, energetically drained, stuck in cycles of anxious thinking, or weighed down by emotional heaviness that won't release. Healers across cultures describe selenite as a reset stone, not because it blocks fear, but because it clears the emotional debris that fear leaves behind. Like moonlight passing through fog, it softens everything it touches. Holding selenite often brings an immediate shift. Your breath deepens, thought loops slow down, shoulders loosen, and the nervous system begins to settle. Its effect is gentle but surprisingly fast, a quality tied to the stone's formation in still, undisturbed environments. If this stone surprises you, or if you've ever felt its calming effect, let me know in a comment saying, "Selenite feels like clarity." I always love seeing how many viewers can feel a stone's energy just by hearing its story. Before we move on, here's a question that sparks huge debates in crystal groups. Do you believe emotional peace comes from clearing heavy energy, or from strengthening the mind first? If you want deeper discussion, share this video in gemstone communities on Facebook or Reddit. Selenite always brings out fascinating conversations. Number 5. Lepidolite, the silent stone that softens storms. They say some stones hold fire, some stones hold memory, but lepidolite, ranked at number 5, holds something far more human, the quiet after a storm. Let me tell you a story. About 60 years ago, a geologist working in the mountains of Minas Gerais, Brazil, noticed something strange. A hillside that should have been roaring with wind was silent. No echo, no vibration, just stillness. He followed the silence to a pocket of lavender-colored mica glistening in the rock. Thin layers, soft shimmer, a glow like moonlight trapped under glass. That mineral was lepidolite, and for the first 30 seconds, I want you to imagine this. A stone born in chaotic geological pressure, volcanic heat, tectonic grinding, chemical storms. Yet the stone that survives carries a frequency so calming, some say it can quiet a trembling mind within minutes. How does something born in destruction become a symbol of peace? That is the mystery of lepidolite. Found in Brazil, Russia, Madagascar, the United States, and Zimbabwe, lepidolite forms only when rare combinations of lithium-rich fluids seep into cooling granite. Lithium, the very element modern medicine uses to stabilize moods, exists naturally inside this stone, woven between shimmering sheets of lilac, pink, and silvery violet. Visually, lepidolite looks like layers of lavender mica, soft metallic sparkle, pink lilac tones shifting under light, delicate flaky surfaces that almost breathe. It doesn't shout for attention, it whispers. So why is it in the top 10 gemstones believed to calm pain, fear, and emotional turmoil? Because lepidolite is the stone of emotional stabilization. For centuries, healers used it during grief, panic, heartbreak, or mental exhaustion. Not to erase pain, but to soften it, to smooth the edges, to help a restless heart finally slow down. Modern crystal practitioners believe lepidolite can ease anxiety and emotional turbulence, calm racing thoughts, support transitions and release fear, relieve emotional static during overwhelming moments, bring clarity when pain clouds the senses. And maybe it's not magic, maybe it's resonance. Maybe our nervous systems quietly respond to the same lithium-bearing structure that once calmed the storms inside the earth itself. During archaeological surveys in Zimbabwe, lepidolite was found inside pouches of ancient healers, used not as currency or decoration, but as medicine of presence, a stone you hold when your world feels too loud. If this stone surprises you, even just a little, leave a comment saying, "Lepidolite feels peaceful." I'd love to know how many of you connect with its quiet strength. And here's something to think about as we move toward the top of the list. Do you believe emotional calm comes from chemistry or from energy? Share your thoughts and this video in gemstone groups on Facebook or Reddit. You'll be shocked how many people have stories about lepidolite but never knew its name. Number 4, blue lace agate, the stone that teaches the heart. How to breathe again. Some stones calm the mind, some stones soften the heart, but blue lace agate, ranked at number 4, does something far more intimate. It teaches you how to breathe again when fear steals your voice. Stay with me for the next 30 seconds because the origin of this pale blue stone explains exactly why so many people throughout history believed it could dissolve emotional pain, fear, and the tightness that builds in the chest during overwhelming moments. Blue lace agate's story begins in the ancient basalt fields of Namibia and South Africa, where volcanic activity once split the earth into deep fractures. Inside those hollow spaces, silica-rich water slowly deposited layer after layer of microscopic quartz, each one forming a delicate band of blue, white lilac, or cloud-like lace. The stone we see today is a geological whisper. Soft colors, gentle curves, rippling lines like frozen waves. Visually, blue lace agate is unmistakable. Pale sky blue soft white lace bands, cloud-like curves that look like calm waves, a soothing, almost breath-like pattern. So why is it ranked among the top 10 gemstones believed to calm pain, fear, and emotional turmoil? Because blue lace agate is known as the stone of breath and safe expression, a mineral believed to release the emotional tension that builds when fear closes the throat, tightens the chest, or silences your true feelings. People turn to blue lace agate when they feel overwhelmed but unable to speak, fear that sits in the chest, and throat anxiety that restricts breathing, emotional tension after arguments or conflict. The need to express truth without shaking or collapsing, the desire for inner peace during turbulence. Its energy is gentle but profound. Not a stone of force, but one of release. Healers across cultures describe blue lace agate as a cooling current. When emotions rise, this stone is believed to slow the heart's panic, open the throat, and steady the breath. Its effect mirrors its geological origin, gentle layers forming slowly and peacefully inside old volcanic chaos. Let me tell you a story. In Namibia, where some of the world's most beautiful blue lace agate is found, an elder once told a geologist that the stone teaches the wind to soften. He believed that just as the desert wind carves soft curves into the land, this stone carves softness back into the human spirit when fear becomes sharp. Another story comes from a therapist who kept a bowl of blue lace agate in her office. Clients would pick up the stones instinctively, and before speaking about painful memories, they would hold the stone against their chest, not for comfort, for courage. Because blue lace agate has long been associated with emotional expression, the safe release of feelings held too tightly for too long. If this stone speaks to you, or if you've ever felt fear rise in your throat when emotions become too heavy, leave a comment saying, "Blue lace agate feels soothing." Your comments help this community grow and show me which stones resonate with your healing journey. Before we continue, let me ask you something. A question that always sparks meaningful conversations in gemstone groups on Facebook and Reddit. Do you believe calm comes from speaking your truth, or from learning to breathe through the fear first? Share this video in your gemstone communities. Blue lace agate always inspires gentle, heartfelt discussions. Number 3, smoky quartz. The stone that swallowed the storm. If you've ever stood at the edge of a dark forest just before a storm breaks, you know the feeling smoky quartz carries: a heaviness, a tension, and then slowly a release, as if the air itself exhales. Stay with me for the next 30 seconds because smoky quartz holds a secret that ancient civilizations understood long before modern psychology. This stone can take what weighs on you and pull it back into the earth. Our story begins in the mountains of Switzerland's Grimsel region, where hikers have reported seeing faint, smoke-colored glimmers inside cracks of alpine granite. But what they're seeing isn't smoke. It's smoky quartz, born from natural radiation deep underground. As quartz absorbs trace amounts of aluminum and is exposed to radiation within the earth, its color shifts from clear to soft gray, then deep brown, and finally into near-black shadows. You'll find the most powerful specimens in Brazil's Minas Gerais, the Scottish Highlands, Nepal and the Himalayas, the Swiss Alps. Each region gives smoky quartz its own personality. Brazilian crystals shine warm and amber. Scottish ones are nearly black, like solid night. Himalayan pieces carry a ghost gray transparency, as if the mountain mist itself crystallized. But geography is only the beginning of this stone's story. To understand why smoky quartz ranks number 3 among gemstones believed to calm pain, fear, and emotional turmoil, you need to step back in time to when ancient Celtic tribes called it the stone of the underworld. Not because it was dark, but because they believed it could carry pain downward, like roots sinking into the soil, bracing a tree during a storm. And modern healers say the same thing. When emotional overwhelm builds like a pressure chamber inside your chest, smoky quartz acts as a kind of grounding anchor, pulling the intensity downward, diffusing fear, easing panic, and stabilizing the nervous system. People reach for smoky quartz when thoughts spiral too fast, fear becomes physical, emotional pain feels too heavy to hold, anxiety drains the body, the mind feels stuck in dark loops. Its energy is not dramatic. It doesn't explode with color or sparkle. Instead, its power mirrors its origin. Slow, quiet, downward, steady. A stone that swallows the storm instead of fighting it. If this stone story surprises you, leave a comment saying, "Smoky quartz feels grounding." Your reactions help shape which stones we explore more deeply in the next episodes. Before we close, let me leave you with a question, one that always sparks discussion in gemstone groups on Facebook and Reddit. Do you think our fear comes from inside us? Or can the earth truly help carry some of it away? Share this video in those communities. Smoky quartz always starts powerful conversations. Number 2, rhodochrosite, the heart release stone of emotional pain and deep fear. Some stones calm the mind, some stones soften the spirit, but rhodochrosite, ranked at number 2, does something far more intense. It reaches into the hidden chambers of the heart where fear, pain, and old wounds have been quietly stored for years. Stay with me for the first 30 seconds, because the origin of this pink banded gemstone reveals why it is believed to calm emotional turmoil more deeply than almost any other stone on Earth. Our story begins high in the Andes Mountains of Argentina, inside ancient cave systems where minerals dripped, layered, and crystallized over thousands of years. In these dark, echoing caverns, rhodochrosite formed as stalactites, growing ring by ring like the timeline of a forgotten life. When miners first cut these stalactites open, they found something extraordinary. Circles of rose pink, peach, and white, stacked like emotional memories fossilized in stone. To storytellers and archaeologists alike, this is symbolic. Rhodochrosite literally holds its history in layers, just like we hold our emotional history in layers. The color is unmistakable: soft cherry pink, warm peach tones, white flow lines like brushstrokes, and sometimes deep raspberry red veins. It looks alive, as if the heart itself learned how to crystallize. So why is rhodochrosite believed to calm pain, fear, and emotional turmoil? Because this stone speaks to the inner child, the part of us that remembers every hurt, every heartbreak, every moment we felt unsafe. Collectors and healers say rhodochrosite doesn't just comfort, it releases. It encourages the heart to let go of emotional tension that has been held for too long. People turn to this stone for emotional trauma stored since childhood, fear of abandonment or rejection, painful memories resurfacing in adulthood, overwhelming sadness or heart-tightening anxiety, rebuilding self-worth after emotional collapse. Its energy is described as warm, expanding, almost like breathing after holding your breath for too long. One traveler once told me a story. He found a piece of rhodochrosite in an old Argentinian mine, and when he held it, he said it felt like someone finally acknowledged the pain I never spoke out loud. That is the power this stone is believed to carry. Not the ability to erase pain, but the ability to help you finally release it. If this stone is surprising you, leave a comment saying, "Rhodochrosite feels emotional." It helps me see how many people connect with this deep heart energy. And here's a question for you, one that always triggers meaningful conversations in gemstone communities. Do you believe emotional healing begins by remembering or by letting go? Share this video in Facebook and Reddit gemstone groups. Rhodochrosite always opens heartfelt discussions. Number 1, amethyst, the stone. That still the storm, within some stones comfort your hands. Some stones soothe your thoughts. But amethyst, ranked at number 1, does something far deeper. It quiets the storm inside the human heart. Stay with me for the next 30 seconds, because the true origin of amethyst is not just geological, it is emotional, ancient, and unexpectedly human. Our story begins in the volcanic fields of Brazil and Uruguay, where immense pockets of lava cooled thousands of years ago. Inside these hollow chambers, dark, silent, untouched, water rich in minerals slowly seeped through the cracks. Drop by drop, century by century, crystals began to grow like frozen purple flames rising from the earth. These geodes stayed hidden until miners cracked open the stone walls, revealing an inner world glowing with lavender, violet, and deep royal purple, as if someone had trapped twilight inside a cave. But the color is not just beauty. To historians, amethyst's purple shades symbolize calm and chaos. To archaeologists, the geodes tell a story of transformation: fire becoming light, pressure becoming clarity, darkness becoming something gentle. And to countless cultures worldwide, amethyst became the stone people reached for when fear tightened the chest and when emotional pain felt too heavy to carry alone. So why is amethyst ranked as the number 1 gemstone believed to calm pain, fear, and emotional turmoil? Because no other stone has such a consistent, cross-cultural history of soothing the human mind. Greek healers placed it under pillows to calm nightmares. Egyptian priests carved it into amulets to quiet anxious thoughts. Medieval monks wore it during prayer to silence emotional noise. And modern energy workers claim it softens panic, centers breath, and eases tension that sits behind the ribs. In many ways, amethyst behaves the way it formed: slowly, quietly, without force. Its energy doesn't push you, it softens you, restoring the emotional muscles exhausted by fear. People often describe a warm release in the body when holding it, as if the mind unclenches gradually like a fist opening after years of tension. Amethyst for many feels like the companion you reach for when your thoughts become loud and your heart becomes heavy. If this story surprised you, or if you've ever felt calmer with amethyst near you, leave a comment saying, "Amethyst feels peaceful." It helps me see how many of you connect with this ancient violet stone. And before we move on, let me ask you something that always creates discussion in gemstone communities. Do you think true calm comes from within? Or do stones like amethyst help us unlock a state we forget how to reach on our own? Share this video in your favorite Facebook or Reddit gemstone groups. Conversations about amethyst always bring out powerful personal stories. And that brings us to the end of today's journey through the 10 gemstones believed to calm pain, fear, and emotional turmoil. If you're still here with me, thank you. Truly. Every minute you spend watching, every comment you leave, every thought you share, it all helps this community of gemstone explorers grow a little stronger. Remember, these stones are more than minerals. They are fragments of ancient mountains, oceans, and volcanic chambers, each one carrying a lifetime of pressure, heat, and transformation before ever reaching your hands. So if even one of them spoke to you today, pay attention. Sometimes the stone we're drawn to is the one that reflects exactly what we're going through. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Which gemstone surprised you the most and why? Tell me in the comments. Your story might be the one someone else needs to hear. And if you feel this video opened a new door for you, don't forget to save it, share it to your gemstone groups on Facebook or Reddit, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. Because in our upcoming episodes, we're traveling deeper into rare stones hidden inside collapsed cave systems, colors that shouldn't exist in nature, and ancient rituals that shaped how civilizations understood healing. Until then, I'm Sarah, this is Gemstone Kingdom, and thank you for being part of this journey. I'll see you in the next discovery.